Hey, what's up, beautiful souls? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're at in this world. I hope this message finds you in a centered place, and I hope that your day has been or will be filled with love and presence. Today, I wanted to talk about toxic masculinity. And I'm not saying that masculinity is toxic. I see that a lot on social media and whatnot, claiming that masculinity is not toxic, blah blah blah. That is not what toxic masculinity means. The toxic masculinity that people discuss is the way our society has become so out of balance within our masculine and feminine energy. And with the masculine energy, it's very matter of fact, very straight to the point. Um, and the feminine is more creative, more intuitive. So when you become out of balance and you become ego driven or analytical mind driven, and you don't have that balance of listening to your intuition and expressing yourself creatively and many other things that come with the feminine energy, your masculine energy becomes dominant and can become very toxic. And you see this with capitalism in this country. It can be a wonderful thing to bring monetary energy to yourself by creating business and creating opportunity for yourself financially. But to the point we are at is we allow the need and the craving and the desire to have an abundance of money. It allows us and these corporations to fill us with toxicity, and not only in our psychological mind, as far as desires and wants, but also fill us with toxicity through the products we consume. And in no regards or no long-term testing, these products are being released to the masses for people to consume and for our children to consume and to put into our atmosphere with no regard to Mother Earth or future generations, and what we're really doing to the humans that are going to walk this earth when we're long gone from this incarnation. And it'll be us, and I don't mean it'll be us in a sense that Chad Hayfield will be back in 1,000 years, but my soul perhaps could reincarnate in another being and reap the karmic debts that we are sowing in our society. And I just want to speak on behalf of the divine masculine. It's time to hold ourselves accountable, and it's time to realign ourselves with our heart center and get away from the over analytical mind and the ego. There is room for discernment when you go through this life, and that's where the ego is a protector of the soul, and it serves its purpose. But when out of balance, it can be a real travesty, not only to yourself and your family, but to the collective. And we see this with the state of competition that we're constantly in, the state of comparison that we're constantly in, the state of fear that we are constantly in our beings, in our collective. That is what the toxic masculinity is. And while you think of the toxic masculinity, and it can be disheartening, and it can be alarming, there is hope, and there is beauty and beautiful things ahead of us, because as many of you know, coming into the age of Aquarius, our consciousness is evolving, and we're becoming aware of these things. But unfortunately, a lot of times it takes some of our darkest hours to really make us grateful and appreciative and even aware or conscious of the power of the light. So I challenge you to look in your life and hold yourself accountable, and check in on your ego, and become aware of your ego, and where ego is comparing, and where ego is fearing, and where ego is trying to use your fellow human as a stepping stone to your next level. And instead of being proud of people and happy for people when they attain a certain position or a certain level of happiness, we tend to start comparing and start judging that person, and saying that they're undeserving or they're not the person for the job, or whatever the situation may be. Our masculine energy has become very toxic through egoic mindsets and through the analytical mind, picking everything apart and fearing what we're unfamiliar with. So I hope this can shine some light on some darkness, whatever that may be in your said circumstance. I hope that you can hold yourself accountable and be honest with yourself, because a lot of times in our society, the hardest thing for us to see is our own truth, because the ego creates this persona, or this mask that we wear and show off to everybody, and we attach it to our accomplishments and to our material possessions, but really that's so far from what we truly are in our hearts and in our being, our soul being that is eternal and that lives forever, and that is just here encompassing these physical bodies just for a short period of time. And in the world of infinite, there really is a very minuscule part of being a soul in this human experience. So I love you guys. Let's find our truths. Let's find areas where we can improve on. Let's find areas where we can restore balance between our heart and our mind, and really get back to the true nature of living, and that is to just love unconditionally. Love thyself, love thy neighbor. So have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you guys very soon.